Okay, so on my palette at the moment, I have my cadmium orange, and I am just going to add a little bit of my gloss glazing liquid to show you how this looks. Okay, so we have a little bit of there, and I'm just going to use a flat brush because I want to keep everything. I'm going to make little squares, and because it's flat here, it'll be easy for me to do. Okay, first thing, let's see how this looks just opaque. And make sure that if you are painting, you check both sides of your paintbrush. Even if you only apply paint on one side, the other side will probably get a little bit of paint on it as well. So keep that in mind when you are applying your glazing. Okay, but first let's start with an opaque square. And so yeah, I mean, pretty straightforward. I think we all know what an orange square looks like in acrylic paint. And this is no glaze added at all. This is also a really great example of showing you how different the orange will look with a gray background than a white background. All right, so I have a lot of paint in the paintbrush already. So why don't we not add, I'm just gonna take some glaze and use what we have already on the paintbrush, and I'm going back and forth to mix it on both sides of the paintbrush. Okay, so I'm gonna do another square right underneath it with the new glaze, and it's still pretty opaque. All right, let's go back and add more glaze. You can start to see the more glaze that I add, you're going to be able to see through. This is what I mean when I say you can see through your paint to the palette. You want to be able to see the palette underneath. That's when you know you're starting to get transparency in your paint. And I'm just going to leave it like that. Let's add more. It's starting to get pretty transparent. Okay, let's try it now. All right, so even though it's starting to get more transparent, it's pretty easy to see now that how it's kind of creating that transition to more transparency. You're still able to see paint pigment. I think now I'm gonna start this pile over here because that one, there's still a lot of pigment. It would take a bigger pile. So usually when you see me bringing it down to a different area and adding more glaze, I'm trying to actually make it more transparent because this one had too much pigment, and it's easier to start a new pile than to try to continue adding more glaze to the one that's has a lot of pigment in it. Okay, so let's try this one now. I mean, it's still looking similar, and I think that is because of the brush. So why don't we wash it? Wash the brush. I'm gonna use my shop towel to dry it pretty quickly. Now let's try the same pile of glaze and see if it's any different. Oh yeah, way different. Something to keep in mind. Washing your brushes in between. Okay, and just for fun, because I know you're like, wow, this is so fun. I could do this all day. I am doing one more. All right, so we have a transparency scale, and we usually have, when I'm talking about scales, we're usually talking about value from lightest to darkest, but this one is a transparency scale to opaque to transparent. And even the most transparent layer is very see-through. You are still able to see a hint of color. So think about how much glaze you want to be adding to your painting in order to build up your layers. Is it something that you need to cover up a lot? Then you would want to think more on this scale. And if it's at the very end and you just want to add a hint of color, definitely add more glaze.